Welcome to the Truth Podcast. I'm your host, Hany Rambod, and I am here with the young upcomer himself. I call him El Nino, Axel Martinez. Axel Martinez has been a part of our Evogen family for, about almost
year and a half.
Year and a half, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we met at one of the YoungLA events, and was one of the people that wanted to get together and do a workout and then talk about how he wanted to be able to grow, and then was also tried out some of the Evogen products.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The
so
first time.
welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. How's it been for a year and a half, bro?
It's being a dream. Yeah, it's a dream.
I literally pay him to say that. So
No.
It's
It's a dream because I always like the big athletes at Evogen, and right now being part of the family is a dream. Being with you, with the team Evogen is really, really a dream.
Well, what stood out to me about you is your passion, but also your humble nature. You know, I think that when people get to meet you, you're very respectful, you're very passionate, but you're also, I think, one of those people that is a giver. You're like a person who really loves people, and you love and appreciate your fans. And you grew a lot, not just physically, but also with the ability to be able to say, well, my body's growing, but your social media is growing a lot too. I mean, since we started working together, how much have you grown?
Muscle or social media?
Let's do social first, and then we'll talk about your physique, because again, you're more of an influencer that's becoming an athlete than becoming an athlete first, then becoming an influencer. It's kind of different. So let's talk about your social, because you're also, how many months ago did you turn 21?
6
months ago.
January.
Right. So in January you turned 21.
Yeah.
And then and I remember when you were like 19, 20. And so when you look at it, you had a following, but now, I mean, how much has your following grown in a year and a half?
If I have 800K, right now I have almost the double.
Okay. So you grew to 1.6 million almost?
Yeah, almost 1.5.
1.5 million, so almost double.
Yeah.
Got it. And then that was in the last year and a half.
Year and a half.
Right.
Yeah.
And is that Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram. TikTok, I don't remember. That's it true.
Yeah. What do you? How many followers do you have on TikTok?
Almost 2.6.
Almost 2.6 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're blowing up on TikTok. Now, let me ask you this, because when we met at the YoungLA event, what you said was like, I want to compete, and I want to compete at the high level. And at that point, I think you've done, because you haven't competed since you've been with me. You're just, because you said, I want to put on size and I want to go pro at some point, right? What I want to basically share with the audience is that you were like 175 pounds, right? At the time, you know, when I met you. Lean, but kind of thin for 6 foot. But 6 foot, right? Yeah. You're 6 foot, 175 pounds, skinny bitch is what you call it, right?
Skinny bitch.
And so the cool thing was that he's like, look, man, I want to get bigger. You know, let's do a workout. I said, sure, let's work out together. He's a great YoungLA ambassador, athlete. And he had already done how many shows? 1 show, 2 shows? How many shows did you do?
No, a lot, like 4 or 5 shows.
Oh, you did 4 or 5. Okay.
Yeah, but no.
Did you do teenage class? Did you do teenage class, or what did you do? Open, teenage? In Mexico, I don't know. Talk to me about it. I don't know enough about
like in Mexico, I was men physique, but there is games. Games is like natty. Natty bodybuilding.
Okay.
And also I compete when it's not natty bodybuilding.
That's
like
no more games. There's no more games. No more games.
But the age doesn't matter.
Got
you can
you.
be 14, 20, 25. They don't care.
Got you. And then at that point, you were competing on stage at what, 170, 165, 170 maybe?
In kilos, I like...
How much in kilos?
60 kilos, 65.
Oh. Yeah. That was like 135 pounds.
Yeah, skinny.
Yeah, at almost 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy skinny. But again, you got good shape, and then we got together, and you pushed hard, man. That was what drew me to you, is that you were like pushing like a bodybuilder, not like a men's physique guy that, you know, or and not to say all men's physique guys hold back, but I'm saying is just that you just trained your ass off. Let's just say that, and because I don't want to stereotype. My whole thing is that who did you look up to when you were coming up?
Nobody.
Nobody? You didn't look up to anybody? Like you
No,
didn't see anybody that you looked up to?
no, nobody. I see my brother, but he trained just for being good.
So you
physique.
weren't looking on social media at anybody going at the time when you were coming up?
No,
Okay.
nobody. I didn't know that all this exists
Uh-huh.
when I start competing. Like 1 year before start training,
Mm-hmm.
I see Evogen and I see you with Jeremy Buendia. But when I start, nobody.
Got you. Yeah, and that's another guy that Jeremy, right? Jeremy was really good about training like a bodybuilder because he started off in bodybuilding, right? He started off in bodybuilding. So
that.
like with his legs and everything else, like when he was competing as an amateur, he was competing as a bodybuilder. So he would train his ass off, you know? And that's where I think that that similarity with that mindset you had,
Yeah.
which was like really pushing yourself. And I go, oh, okay. Now, obviously, you're a lot taller than Jeremy, so you have a big frame. And so then you said, hey, look, I really want to kind of push my body in terms of like putting on some size. And, you know, and Axel asked me to help him. And I said, you know, we can definitely discuss going over everything. My biggest concern is, are you going to be able to like stay on top of your meals? Because you're also an influencer, number one, right? And when I say influencer, it's like, hey, you know, like always trying to be in shape and always trying to come up with skits on TikTok and doing these things. And you got to be a bodybuilder and like get your meals, get all of those things. And whether you're going to compete in men's physique or in classic, at the end of the day, you got to do the same thing.
Yeah.
You got to grow. And you're so tall. And I'm like, okay, you're not 5'6", you're not 5'7", you're 6 foot. But you know, when we got that workout in and I saw that, you know, you were putting in how hard was it to change your mentality? Because some people never change. They always want to be an influencer, even though they say that they want to be a bodybuilder, but they want to party, they want to do other things, they want to, you know.
It was hard for me. Some stuff, like example, I never go to the party. Never. That things, it was easy for me because I always been like at the gym. But for me, it was hard to change. Like I was like a steady guy, and then change and do bulk and then compete. That is like the hardest thing for me because I was like really in shape, aesthetic, and I don't know what the people will say that I am not more like in really in shape and I will change to compete. But that's the reason. I don't know if you remember that I told you, you think I could do like a really good job on bodybuilding? You say yes, and I said, let's do it.
Yeah.
That is my dream.
No,
Always being my dream.
I still believe in that. When I saw how hard you worked and you were willing to really push yourself, that's when I said, yeah, you know, and you were saying, hey, you know, I love the products with Evogen. So you know, you had a chance to try all the products, and then we ended up signing you, and you said, I want to go to the next level. I want to someday turn pro. And whether it's men's physique or whether it's classic, whatever happens, but I want to grow to be able to compete as a professional. And in a year and a half to put on 50 pounds on your frame it's
hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Like all of those things, because you said to me, you said, yeah, I want to, you know, I'm going to do that. And I said, well, you got to be really careful because you want to take the least amount of things if you're going to be doing that, because it's important so that you have enough room in the tank if you want to grow later. Because a lot of you don't know, if you bombard your system, you may grow 50, 60 pounds in a very short time, but then your body burns out. And then also it becomes very, very unhealthy. You have blood pressure problems. You have a lot of different other issues that end up happening. And now with you being able to do things in a very low, moderate way, I think that, you know, your skin actually even looks healthier than when I met you.
Yeah,
I remember
a lot.
I saw you and I go, I don't know what you're doing, but your skin looks horrible. I don't know what's going on.
I remember.
And you had already started that. And I was like, oh man, this is really, really bad. Let's get ahead of it. Because, you know, you can have scarring. You can have a lot of things both on your face, your body. And, you know, who wants that? Nobody wants that, especially when you're trying to be an influencer and you have to turn around and wear a tank top and you have to wear those. And now as you've grown, actually, your skin has gotten better and better.
A lot.
Yeah. So a lot of that was estrogen management. It was proper hygiene in terms of like not just taking a shower, but when you're taking a shower, changing your sheets. We went over all of those things. So guys, if you're listening to this podcast and whether you're coaching somebody or whether you're actually, you're going through it yourself, what it's really about was just making sure that you're taking care of the sebaceous glands, and also making sure that you're taking showers before bed, waking up in the morning and before bed, and then changing your sheets. Just those things alone. And then obviously benzoyl peroxide works tremendously well to help dry out your skin when it's got the extra oil in there. And then eating clean. Eating oily foods produces more oil. So if you're eating like crap and you literally just eat like shit and you're eating French fries and all those, it's going to come out of your pores, right?
Yeah, that's
so,
right.
So all of those things were things that we did. So some takeaways for you at home, or if you're listening to this and on the podcast on Spotify or any of the other platforms, make sure you understand that if it's you or your athletes, what they take in. It's not just, hey, estrogen management, I'm going to pound down my estrogen. It's also fat management, grease management, eating burgers, eating fries, eating pizza, all of that stuff. There's a reason why they call it pizza face, because that you literally, that pepperoni and oil is going to come out of your pores. So those are things that, in educating someone so young who's just starting out and being able to do that. And this is one of the reasons why being able to share this information with you guys all through the Truth Podcast is something that's super important to me, so that you guys all understand you can have scarring for the rest of your life, especially if it becomes cystic. If you have naturally bad skin, then you got to also worry about possibly getting on Accutane. Then obviously that's not really good for your liver. But if it's really, really bad, I had it, and it wasn't because it was drug induced. I was 13 years old, and I had really bad acne, bad cystic acne. I still have scars from it. From when I was 12, 13 years old, when I hit puberty, I had really bad, my mom had bad skin, I had bad skin, and I had to go on Accutane a couple times. So those things that you want to get ahead of, but I also didn't have somebody telling me, make sure you wash your sheets on your pillowcases like every couple of days, make sure you take a shower before bed. I was 12, 13 years old, you know what I mean? Didn't know any better on that end. And I think that the biggest thing is just making sure between all of those things that we just talked about, the benzoyl peroxide makes a huge difference, the wash, and then making sure that you're taking showers when you're getting up, but also before bed, and then just changing those pillowcases and those sheets. Also, making sure you change your towels too. That's another thing too, because that's a breeding ground for bacteria. So you got to be very, very careful to make sure the towels are changed, because after you get out of the shower, if you don't have a clean towel and you're drying your face, that bacteria is, you're putting bacteria right back on your face again. So again, that's just a little word to for the wise there. In regards to you right now, okay, social media, how is it being a YoungLA athlete? Because YoungLA is, we're both with YoungLA, and you went to the party. How was that, man? How's the YoungLA?
It was crazy.
You gonna give up any secrets? Is it like being at the Playboy Mansion?
No secrets. But yeah, the rap. You see who went to the party?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah,
it was
rapper?
5 minutes, but it was crazy.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember the artist, but I saw some of the stuff.
Neither.
Now, I was in Europe, so I didn't get to make it to the party. I was, for those of you that don't know that, or were following me on social media, you might have seen it, that I was at the Rimini event. Then from Rimini, I was there with Phil, Ronnie, Lee Hany, Nexzilla, Behruz Tabani. Shout out to Behruz. He's supposed to be competing here. So by the time you listen to this podcast, he may have not competed. And there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the Middle East right now. So I am going to just quickly address that. So shout out to everybody in Iran and the Middle East. Please praying for everyone to stay safe. But he's supposed to be competing this weekend to try to go back and repeat his win. But how was the party? Was it good?
It was good. It was good. But I go early.
Okay.
Because I need to
You didn't stay late?
No, because right now I want
Does your
to
girlfriend
be a
go with you?
bodybuilding. Nah.
Oh.
No, she don't.
Did she get jealous?
No. When? Depends. When she see the artist, yeah. But
because she wanted to be there for the artist?
Yeah, I remember.
Not because she's worried about you talking to girls?
No, just the artist.
Just the artist?
Yeah.
You got FOMO.
Yeah. That was crazy. It's Taiga.
Oh, Taiga. Yeah. Well, yeah, that, again, Germer and, a.k.a. Gary over there and his brother and the whole team does a great job with those parties, man. They go next level with those parties.
That party.
Yes.
It's incredible.
But, so being on that, I guess do you feel that it's a lot of pressure every month having to try to like come up with ideas on social media? Because again, being a social media guy and waiting to compete, because if you guys don't know, and I've talked about this before, but Axel, we're waiting for another year or so to be able to fill in his frame before he gets on stage. You know, yes, he's put on 50 pounds, which is great, but it needs to season. He needs to fill in his chest, his back, his arms a little bit more. And then eventually, if he does do classic, then obviously his legs, but your legs have improved a lot too.
Yeah, but need more.
Yeah. But I guess my thing is that how much pressure is it to constantly have to do it? You know, you're 21 years old. You make good money, and you know, between all the sponsors, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And so all the things, but is it like a lot of pressure?
For me, no, because I think that like in social media, it's me. Like really, it's me. I do like funny videos and
Because that's your personality.
yeah. But if you try to do other type of content and it's not like really you, that is the hard thing. But for me, it's okay. It's not pressure. It's more pressure to get like to my goals before the time that you told me or YoungLA told me some stuff. That is like the pressure that I wanted before the time you told me. But after that, it's all good. Yeah, because I love to do this. Like the videos is my idea sometimes, and I tell you, oh, let's do this, and it's funny for me, and I post it.
Yeah,
And that's
you don't
it.
even care.
No,
and sometimes
no.
it's really good, and sometimes it's
Yeah,
Like it just depends on
it's
like
it's bad, but I don't care.
like when you say bad, it doesn't have a lot of likes or it doesn't have a lot of engagement.
not funny for all the people, and for me, yes, and I post it.
Yeah, you don't even care, and then you're
No.
over it. You know,
No.
that's what's cool because you don't care. A lot of people, when you guys do social media, 100%, I'm like this. Okay, you overthink it, right? You overthink it, and I'm very guilty of this. Where when we want to do a campaign, or if I want to do something like even just do a basic post, I'll sit there and be like, okay, is it the right angle? How many pictures in the carousel? What do I want to do? Sometimes I overthink it. And then you just do it. You got whatever comes to mind. We just did a workout, right? Yesterday, day before, and then we were doing flies and cable flies, and then we turned around and do push-ups, and we were doing something that just kind of
It's funny for me.
it's funny. Yeah,
And I posted.
and that was it.
Yeah.
and that's it. So he doesn't really. He doesn't overanalyze, and I think a lot of us overanalyze our social media.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes you just got to put it out there, and if it's good, good. Because you know what? At the end, you could always delete it. If you didn't like it, you could always delete it too.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, if you get 10 views or 100 views, that 10 views for the people is great to see that. I was like you, like in a few months, I think about everything. Like, oh, this picture, the lighting, the views of this reel. Maybe I don't grow too much this day, and it was like hard for me.
Yeah, because you're overanalyzing it.
Yeah, and I get the shadow ban.
Oh, you got shadow banned.
Yeah,
Yeah. What did you get shadow banned for?
a funny video
A funny.
and a posing.
Were you naked?
No, a posing. but
What was just posing?
Like, really posing, yeah.
And you got shadow banned
Yeah,
for how long?
3 months.
3 months.
3 months.
Wow.
But it helped me right now because I get like more. I appreciate the good things now. Like not a lot of views, and like I told you, I am more me because of that also.
That's cool. So you just worry about whatever you like.
Yeah, because before that, all day I was seeing like my stories, the views,
Yeah.
and if the reel go.
So do you think
bad-
that shadow ban helped you because you didn't
Yeah.
think about that, right?
Yeah.
So it makes you reset the way you looked at it.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's kind of funny taking a negative, like getting shadow banned instead of being like angry. Like there was some girl that got her TikTok account taken down,
yeah.
and then she was banging on the door. I saw of the TikTok headquarters. Let me in, and I need my account back.
Yeah,
You know?
I was angry, but when I finished the shadow ban, I see that
Wow.
it was good for me, because if a video go bad, my day was bad also. Like
Yeah.
I was angry. Why this?
Right.
These
Because you're trying to
views
chase perfection.
Yeah, but right now I prefer to be like this. I enjoy more to training with you, to go to LA, to go to everywhere.
Peru.
Yeah, to Peru.
Yeah.
I love Peru.
Yeah. You just got back from Peru. Shout out to Peru. He was just out there for Evage in Peru, and I can't wait to go next year to Peru because I want to go down and meet a lot of people down in South America. you know, Colombia, Peru, I mean, Chile, Argentina, all those places. So
I love Peru.
Yeah.
10 of 10.
yeah, was it?
Yeah.
10 of 10.
Yeah,
That's
for
good.
me.
Beyond your expectation then.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite trips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can't wait to go. I think next time you go, I'm going to go with you.
Let's
So
go
we're-
next
yeah,
year.
Yeah, we'll go together. So we'll plan that out. But because the passion in South
Yeah.
America, I mean, bodybuilding is growing a lot in Latin America, huh?
Yeah, a lot. It's something new compared to US,
Mm-hmm.
but it's growing every year a lot.
Yeah.
In
And-
shows.
yeah,
at
and then Mexico City,
influencers,
that too, right?
Yeah.
Felix and his show, yeah, that grew a lot.
a lot.
you
like,
know.
maybe like 5 times or more.
That's amazing.
It was crazy.
That's
this
awesome.
year.
Yeah, and I got a sinus infection. I was going to go to that show, and I got a sinus infection before I was able to get on the plane. And I was on antibiotics. It didn't help. Like I wasn't able to get better in time. And just from grinding, I was traveling, and then I ended up getting sick. But I wasn't able to make it this year. Last year, we had a great
Yeah.
time when we were there. And then this year, Axel, I remember you calling me. We were talking when you were
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And I said, how are you? How's everything going? And you're like, dude, awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah, so that's good, man. Shout out to Felix and the guys over the Fit Weekend. That's he killed it.
We had a lot of people over there.
Yeah,
And it was great.
yeah. Our eVision team there is growing really.
Yeah.
Is growing as well. So now going back to the training part, like, do you feel like you have to motivate yourself every time you go to the gym?
Some days,
Mhm.
yeah, but I remember what my goal is,
Mhm.
and I need to do it, and that's it.
That's hard because for those of you that can really relate to this, what it really boils down to is that when you don't have a show and you don't know when your show is, it's very, very difficult to be motivated, right?
It's
So-
like frustration because you don't know when it's going to compete,
Yeah,
but every day count.
right.
You need to do it.
Yeah. And I think what we do to help that is check-ins.
Yeah.
So when you have a check-in, even
Pressure.
it's the pressure of the check-in is what helps you because you don't have the pressure of the show because you don't have a show date yet. So that is something that I do to make sure that, you know, the regular check-in still. And remember, guys, I haven't stopped coaching. I just stopped coaching that top elite level because I wanted to be able to give back to the eVision athletes, to the athletes on my podcast, to the athletes that listen to me on Instagram or, you know, on TikTok, all of these things to be able to give more information. And you've guys seen me work with a lot more athletes now in my own gym or when I'm abroad, because now I don't have the pressure of just being able to have to like be able to come up with that like Olympia winning result. I can take the information and be able to really scatter it across a lot of platforms and being able to show not only what I've learned, but things that I feel like are going to be fruitful. So instead of, you know, mentoring and coaching, a couple of people, a handful of people, you know, between all the platforms, 5-6 million now for me between all the platforms.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
a
he
lot.
just hit 3 million on Instagram.
I
So we got to do
see.
another giveaway.
Yeah,
It's time for
another
another giveaway.
giveaway.
3 million on Instagram. And because, you know, just before that, there was 1 million on
YouTube.
on YouTube. And so, and I think I hit 1.6 million on TikTok, which is cool. But when you add all those up, I want to be able to give more content, more information. Also, coming up with more products for eVision, come up with new flavors, more new things, just innovative, cool stuff, and being able to talk more about how I can be able to help the coaches or those that are just wanting to be coached just by listening to the podcast. So I'm doing my best on being able to do that and being able to do trips now where before, again, being so stressed out, feeling like I couldn't do the trips. Again, the one in Italy was awesome. So shout out to all of the Italianos out there that came out to visit us at the Panada booth. And, you know, the team with Panada now doing things with KSM 66 and continuing building more products, and you get to test all the new stuff
Yeah, I
before it
want to
comes
taste
out.
that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we got a couple of new KSM products that are coming. Very, very excited about that because you haven't tried the new Cellcam.
No.
The new
With
Cellcam
the-
KSM.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so you're getting that. He's taking that back with
Oh,
him.
no, yeah. In Peru.
Oh, you gotta try and try it.
Yeah,
How was it?
Francisco told give me one scoop.
One scoop?
It was crazy.
He was supposed to give you the whole bottle. Francisco
It's
kept,
supposed, yeah, but-
and he kept the bottle and gave you a scoop.
Yeah.
Francisco, man, dude.
And I ordered one Mexico, but they don't have like the new one.
They don't have the new one yet.
Yeah.
So we'll give you the other one on the way today. so you
Yeah,
can
that's
take the whole
crazy.
bottle with you.
The
Francisco.
only brand with that.
That's why Francisco looks so jacked now.
Yeah,
know,
I see.
Francisco's
taller.
our sales rep. That's like, he's like 6'6".
I
He's
don't
about
know,
6'6".
he's
Yeah, he's tall. He's tall.
tall,
We call him the
tall.
Venezuelan Rock. And so he was out there. He's part of our Evogen team, and it's hilarious because I think that he wanted you to have one scoop, and then he took the rest.
Yeah, and that's it.
These
No,
guys fight over it.
He gave me 2 scoops.
He 2 scoops.
2 scoops.
Okay,
that's
that was it.
Yeah.
The rest of them for him.
Yeah.
That's great. But yeah, so going into it now, you motivate yourself. You're shooting YoungLA. You're doing stuff with Evogen. You're traveling around the world now. Building up social, and that's the other thing that I like to do. Like just like and going back on the whole Jeremy thing, going around the world is something I love to do with our athletes, and being able to make them a part of a lot of the different regions that we're so big in internationally, and being able to get a world audience going. Yeah. I was very proud of that situation with him where we were able to do that. Getting, he had millions and millions of followers from going to Philippines and going to India and going to the Middle East, to the Kuwait, all over the world, to give that worldwide audience. And that's where I'm very proud of being able to do with the Evogen team and our resources and our network to be able to create, worldwide athletes,
that's
not
crazy.
just an athlete that's just US based, and being able to put them on our platform. So, I'm excited that you like it so much and you want to do more.
Yeah, I want to do more.
Yeah.
I was like thinking about it to go to Peru, and I said, yeah, let's go. And the best decision.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's awesome, brother. I can't wait to go down there with you. And then also, I know I wanted to go to Colombia.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like I said, Chile, Argentina, Brazil.
world.
Yeah. Yep. Go all over, not just South America, but also you've never been to the Middle East yet.
No.
Yeah.
Never.
So we got to do that. Yeah.
We need to do
India.
all the world.
Yeah,
all
we got to go to the world. He just wants to sign me up. Let's just go
Yeah.
everywhere.
Let's
That's
go.
it. That's awesome. Yeah, so we have some questions too. I did a Q&A. You did on your thing. So again, on your channel, you had Q&A. We said that you're going to basically be doing this podcast with me. What are some of the questions that you had on your Q&A? Because I want to be able to answer your fans.
My fans?
Yes.
Okay. First, I told you like 5, and you respond whatever you want.
Okay.
First, why you are training me? Why you start training me?
Well, I think I talked about it, right? I said that because of the fact that you were putting in so much hard work, just like somebody else that was a professional athlete, even though you're a beginner and you were literally just starting out your journey, I felt like, almost like the David Butler situation. I like going back to my roots and starting over again because so many people have just seen me recently with only the top people for so long. They don't realize how many people I had from the very beginning that I brought all the way to the top. So they weren't, they only saw recently because as I started working, with a lot of the guys since like Sebum, Derek, Hany in the last 6-7 years, they didn't realize when I was the pro creator, I would take people from the local, then go into regional, then go into getting them the pro card, then getting them on the Olympia stage.
Yeah, that's true because a lot of people tell that, oh no, Hany has only the top.
Right. They don't realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I only have the top now because I don't have the time to work with the guys all the way through because of Evogen. And so I have between Evogen, my FST7 app, I've got so many different things that I'm working on. And also
because you have not the top, but right now you are on the top. You work hard for that.
Yeah. And that's why we're doing that. And but that's why, like, even at the Olympia, it was like trying to always win the Olympia. So instead of having like in the past where sometimes have 4 people, 5 people, 6 people, at the Olympia, now it's like, okay, I've got one person, they've got to win, or we got 2 people, they got to win the 2 classes, 2 wins, So at the end, now it's more about trying to focus on going back. Like I said, when I moved to Dallas and I started working with David Butler, he'd never done a show and he's a teenager. And then so I want to be like, let's see what I can do again. Yeah. I haven't worked with a natural guy. He got big, got shredded, striated glutes, all natural, took the drug test, everything else. And quite frankly, I'm very proud of that because, again, just taking somebody and being able to go back and do that again, because it's been a while since I was able to do that.
And it's funny. I think so.
Yeah.
It's more funny because he's from 0 to to everything.
When you say funny, you mean more fun?
Yeah,
yes,
more
more
fun.
fun to watch. Yeah, it's more entertaining because then I think more people relate to it too. So seeing those top people at the top is great, but when you see somebody starting out, never done a show before, turn around, natural, get striated glutes. Again, that was a great opportunity. David's a great kid. And again, he was, I think, 18, 19 years old when I met him. 18 years old when you met him. And then he did the show, was 19. So
1 year.
Yeah, yeah. And then he did the show, won the show. And then he's still got to get back on stage. So, David, if you're listening to this, get your lazy ass up. He's working hard. He's got a pool
Instagram.
company. Yeah, he's got his pool company, which is shout out to him and his pool company. But good kid. And but he's working, working hard.
He's really big.
Yeah, he's getting and he's growing now because now I think he's 21 now.
21
yeah,
years.
Yeah, he's 21.
Like me.
Yeah, 21. He might be 22 right now. How old is Skirto? 22. Now he's just 22. God, he's getting old, bro. That's it. But yeah, so that's why because of how hard you worked. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah. What was the next question?
The question that all the people want, including me. What year I will compete?
What year will you compete? Okay, so right now it's 2000. It's the middle of 2025, and so I would say probably by the time that you put on enough size on your 6-foot frame to compete, you'd probably be either at the end of next year or the beginning of the following year. That's where I see you being able to do that because right now you're growing. Like I saw you yesterday, and honestly, I'm like, wow, this is going really well.
Yeah.
So I think by that time, your body's going to plateau to the point where it's like, okay, now let's try to dial in a conditioning and get you into a contest prep. But between even now and then, doing a mini cut to try to make sure that everything is in shape. Because the thing that I like about where you're at right now is your abs are showing, and you're in a really nice clean bulk. Where your abs, the outline of your abs are showing. And you're like, oh, I'm fat. And I'm like, no, you're not shredded, right?
Yeah.
But you don't want to be to put on the size. People don't realize if you get a little too fat while you're doing a bulk, you're more likely to just get fatter, right? But if you're too lean, you will definitely not be strong enough and have enough weight on you to get stronger to be able to put on more size. So it's a balancing act. Right now, you're in a really good spot because you're getting really strong.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to continue. But again, ask me again in 6 months.
6 months. Okay.
That's it.
6 months.
We'll talk. We'll go in there and I'll give you more of an update.
Okay. At the beginning of the next year, we talk.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Hey. Also, let me check. Which you think is my best muscle and my worst muscle? I know the worst.
Calves.
Yeah.
His calves.
Yeah.
But actually they're starting to grow more, so that's good.
But they are.
And I don't know. I think your worst muscle besides your calves was your back. And now I think your back is actually growing. I think your back is growing. I mean, you always had a decent chest, but now your chest is really growing as well. But you're definitely getting rounder, and your width looks really good. And I think your back, sometimes when you develop your back, especially very quickly, it'll be developed only in certain areas. But your back is now growing very, very well between your lat width and your back fullness. And that's what I like to see, because if you overdevelop your thickness, and then it can make you look narrow, because if you don't have enough width. But between all of your pull-ups, pull-down exercises, being able to really get that V-taper, but also making sure that you're still getting heavier rows, you have both working together so it's more balanced. Yeah, because like I said, if you get thick but you don't get the width, it makes you look even more narrow. So now that's why you're looking wider, because you have both growing in a proportionate amount. So I really like that. I think so, really like how your back is growing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I don't have back. Right now I have a decent back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's we did that back workout, so you guys go check it out. So some of the workouts are going to be on the YouTube channel. And just a quick reminder, if you are a member of the FST7 app, then you can go ahead. I have an exclusive workout with Axel that's going to be just for the FST7 members. If you are not a member, you can go ahead and sign up at hanyrambod.com and use Hany YT for your first month, only $1, to check out the FST7 app and all the different workouts that are available just for you, the members. So check it out, HanyRambod.com, download the app, and then that workout that we're talking about is going to be on there. There's going to be an exclusive workout that's not going to be on YouTube, but it's only for FST7 app members. So check it out. So again, next question.
This is more like for me, but I wanted to say it. It's like, how do you like, how do you say? Oh shit.
¿Cómo se dice?
¿Cómo se dice expectativa? A ver, traductor. Wait, give me 1 second. Expectativa. Expectation.
Okay.
Yeah. How do I like manage the expectation that you are my coach with the people?
Oh, okay. That's that's the question to you.
Yeah, it's understand or how I say it.
I think so. Like, are people? Is that for you? They're
Yeah,
asking you.
yeah,
What's the
like-
like? How do you handle how do
Yeah.
you manage the expectation
Yeah.
of me being your coach? That's a good question.
That's a
What
good
is it? What is
question.
it? What's the answer to that question?
I have more pressure, and that's the reason that I do like 100% the stuff, because I know like the check-in is with Hany Rambod, with you,
Yeah.
like the best
Yeah, yeah.
coach. I need, if you are training me, is for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think I need to be like in the same page. I need to do my 100% because you are trusting me
Yes.
and you're the best.
I appreciate that.
And I need to do my best because of that. Because you're the best, you need to have the best ones, and
So
I
the
need.
expectation is high.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
high, really high.
And that helps me a bit, right? So that helps me because what it does is then people can't be they can't puss out, right? So you can turn around and feel like that pressure of wanting to maintain excellence
Yeah,
is something that happens. And honestly, it happens here at Evogen as well, because when you see the passion that I have for this, and then that passion is equal, then it's a partnership,
yeah,
right? Because I'm not going to be with you. I just know that when I see the check-ins, whether you're doing your job or not, is he eating? Is he resting? Is he getting massage? Is he making sure that he's doing everything we talked about? I see the results and go, yep, he is, you know?
massage every 3 days.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Yeah,
And, but my thing is just making sure that you have that ability to follow through and execute on the plan, right? Anybody who's a trainer who's listening to this, that's what you're really boiling down to. That's why if you can get somebody, your clients to do that, that's how you're going to be a good trainer. How you give them the information, how they take that information, analyze it, and then execute on it. So when I'm working with Axel, I'm turning around and creating a mentorship program with him saying, look, I'm putting my time and effort into it because he values it. He does it. But if you have a client out there that doesn't value your information, they ain't going to listen to you. That's
Yeah.
why you never give out your stuff for free either, by the way. Because if you do, what they're going to do is they're going to turn around and say, it's no big deal. It's whether you use it or not, because there's no skin off of their back. So, there's nothing, there's no money falling out of that wallet. So at the end of the day, value the information, because if you don't, they won't. And then what ends up happening is they're not going to end up getting to their goal because there's no accountability. But again, what I like about Axel is he appreciates the effort that I give him, and then he reciprocates that by making sure that he executes on it.
Yeah,
and that's
because
what makes a good team.
you have a lot of work, and he sometimes called me, and I appreciate that because I know that you don't have time.
Yeah.
But you give me some time.
Yeah, I make the time.
Yeah, you make the time to call me to
Yeah.
do the check-ins.
Yeah.
And in my part, I need to be ready for that. I need to do my 100%.
Sure.
Like to be on the same.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. You got one more?
One more. They are almost the same. Yeah, they're almost the
They're
same.
all similar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe which is the best exercise for every muscle? Like your favorite of back, chest, and shoulders.
Well, my chest one has always been incline dumbbell press. Okay. The back is very difficult because, again, I think pull-ups, because
Pull-ups.
for pull-ups because I think that's the one where you don't even need a gym. Like when I started bodybuilding at home when I was a kid, and I called it bodybuilding, but it was building my body. It was because I had one of those fixed barb pickup in the door where you turn it and then you leave it there, and then you just try to just do pull-ups, and then all of a sudden my arms started getting pumped, my back was pumped, you know, and then and I did push-ups, and then all of a sudden my body started changing, and then I was like, I like this, right? So it was one of those things. So I think a pull-up really, really helps quite a bit. And then obviously when you get into rows for back thickness, legs always squat. Whether it's a Smith machine squat, you can turn around and do a belt squat if you have a bad back, or free weight squat's the king.
100%.
Absolutely. You know, and then everything else is basic. Every bicep curl, you know, depending on how you feel with the biomechanics, any tricep extension. Again, I really like the one behind the head where you stretch and then you bring out.
Oh, yeah.
That works fantastic. But really what it boils down to is that mind-muscle connection and making sure you're also doing it right. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So because so many people will snap the weight, drop the eccentric, and then God, man, that's like drinking milk and then spitting half of it out. Like you need to be able to, if you want what's in there, you need to drink it and make sure you get it to be able to absorb your rep. That eccentric on the way down is just as important on the way up.
Yeah,
so
a lot of people, you go to the gym and see like in squat 5 plates.
Right. No.
Bro.
No. And then you're doing with me, you can barely do 2.
Yeah, or 1.
Yeah, or 1.
Something wrong.
Yeah.
Is over there.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
so guys, Axel's been an athlete for a year and a half. I didn't bring him on the podcast, and I think that this time I really wanted to bring him on to introduce him to the audience because, again, he's putting together a really amazing journey, and as he's grown, and even though he was an athlete, even though I'm coaching him and I'm putting the time and effort into him, I felt like he still had to earn being able to be on here.
Yeah.
And after a year and a half, I'm like, hey man, let's get you on the podcast. He's like, really? And I was like,
Another dream.
Yeah. Well, and it's because I want you guys to be able to follow him and you can kind of see what he's doing out there, because there might be some relatable items, especially if you're starting out in your competing journey. And just know, especially, and then if you're a tall guy, right? Yeah. It's going to take a little while. You can't rush it as much as somebody who's 5'6". So when you turn around and you're dealing with something and you are like, whether you're coaching somebody at 6 foot or you are 6 foot and you're younger, it takes longer to season that physique. So if you want to be a part of that journey and then all of that, and you need to share, this is going to give you some advice too.
Okay.
You need to share a little bit more about what you're doing, right? Because again, the eating a little bit more, because you're doing it. But it'd be good because you're sometimes doing a lot of entertainment on your social media. But I think you should be sharing more. Okay. Sharing more and discussing what you're doing, like with the food. Even we do our,
supplements,
tuckets. Yeah, eating your Taco Tuesdays, man. It's not really Tuesdays. He eats up cheat meals, and again, nothing too crazy, not too crazy oily cheat meals. We're talking about our typical cheat meals would be like steak burgers, and pasta, and then also like if he can get Middle Eastern food, he can do that, barbecue. And then tacos, but again, like healthier tacos, where, even though he does like Taco Bell. He told me that.
I like Taco Bell.
Dude, this is the Taco Bell king. But I think that the biggest thing is just making sure that you can be able to show that, because again, he has a fast metabolism, so we got to ramp that up, and a little bit of that junk food helps. And when I say junk food, I'm talking about like higher caloric intake food, not junk food meaning going all through McDonald's drive-through. And again, do you have Taco Bell in Mexico?
No, we don't have.
Oh, okay. So
maybe I love because of that, because we don't have it over there.
That's all it is. It's something new.
Yeah,
but it's not. But the quality is garbage. Don't eat that shit. The quality is garbage. You guys, when you go and you get your tacos, does your mom make your food?
No. Do
you guys go out?
Yeah, we go out.
You go out. So and the quality of the food's pretty good.
Yeah,
huh?
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
not like Taco Bell.
Yeah, exactly.
It's meat over there.
Yeah, we don't, not mystery meat.
No,
yeah. But yeah, so again, shared journey. If you get a chance, I'm going to put his link to his Instagram page, some of his social media networks on the links below. So, and definitely let me know what you guys would love to be able to see me train him on the next training series, because I'm going to be having him come out again to do some more things. and maybe some more Q&As. But definitely get to know Axel. I think you're going to be able to, especially if you're a young bodybuilder, a young lifter, or you're coaching young lifters, because again, being so tall, so big, having such a big frame, and learning how to be patient. So guys, that's
a
it.
hard thing, patience.
That's it.
For me, when I'm going to compete, I know
Yes.
I need to be more patient.
Yeah, but it's growing. You're doing a good job growing. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Hany Rambod, Axel Martinez, and that's the truth.